G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talks Stuff Ukraine War update for the 23rd of April 2026. Before we get to the main story, we will look at the war map. Now, for some reason, this Ukrainian war map triggered a Ukrainian glazer in Canada, who seemed to, after 20 seconds, think that this map is somehow Russian disinformation. Why? Because it doesn't match the map he gets. Now, he wouldn't specify where he gets his Ukraine news from, but this is the problem when you are emotional and identitarian with your politics, instead of rational and broad-based. Always criticizing or analyzing, I should say, and getting multiple sources of information, because even Fox News gets things wrong or fails to keep up. And not all news stations keep up with each other. You know, there are lots more stories on CNN than ABC, for instance. Probably way more stories on the BBC than any other news service I've seen. And there is, I suppose, a more comedic side to some of Fox's shows that tends to lend them to focus on a few single issues rather than more broader things going on. So you can't rely on one source, which I don't. Now, we have quite a lot of activity on the Northern Front, which is unusual. It usually burns out after a short time. The Kupiansk offensive continues without any progress. I wouldn't say wrong, without any major progress, right? They are slowly filling in this area. They're just not unseating the Ukrainians. Well, both sides have artillery, both sides have rockets, both sides thinly spread their troops out so they can't lose a lot, and both highly mobile. Otherwise, you just get pinned down and eliminated. And most of the time, they're busy defending against drones. Both sides. So, the offensive at Lyman is stalled. Sylvester Front is only a crawl. Little bit of activity here. I suppose. Still technically part of the Sylvester Front. Everything down here is the Chavez Yar front, and you've got the Klomovsky front, which is stalled, Chavez Yar, which is stalled, although there's a bit of activity to the north, nothing real. There has been some progress here, but it's just not big. Now you've got the Vovosk front, which is seen a bit of activity and a bit of but it's stalled. And again, most of this, but where it stalls is sometimes Russia will go around and advance elsewhere. So Russia continues to nibble, or like guppy, lots of guppy, rather than one big shark bite. Take little tiny bites out of Ukraine every day. But they've taken huge. Well, they've done the most damage here in Zaporozhye for no, it's like, Ukraine is really holding on here. But you can see they've taken no major town. And closing the gap, however, on Zelensky. Now, it seems Zelensky wants to soak Ukrainian blood. The problem is in the long term, you'll just face economic, social, and political collapse. All right, got it to reload. Just didn't notice the browser tab had collapsed. Okay, it's installed. It was loading, but it must have just froze when I clicked off it. So back at it. Russia's upgrading its short range or immediate air defense to the Tor system, increasing its effectiveness. Believed it was sitting around 93. Claims do vary. Yeah. Again, these are short range. Very fast, but very short. Most were designed against helicopters, but it can actually do high altitude. But you can see it's improved. Just basically, it's got a couple of little search radars. Now, these systems are often found on ships for anti-ship to take out anti-ship missiles. As you can see, it's on the improved BLTR, the artillery tractor. There, see? It's got a lot more little domes and dishes and little extra countermeasures as well on the system, as well as improved radar, all-weather capabilities. It's improved, of course, the BLTR has been improved with a bigger engine, 1,000. It's got a tank engine in it now. Well, that's what it was. It was called. It was designed originally to tow 152mm artillery. The big ones, the 9.6 meter barrels. But they increased its wireless and wired networking. They cooked it and fire on the go, which is big. But you'll notice something they have also done. Where's the guns? Yeah, they took the guns off again. I think the guns are still on the Panzer system, but yeah. So I don't know. They put out a test. They said, the guns were increasing effectiveness. They were going to be a permanent feature. Then they were going to upgrade to lasers. And now all of a sudden, they're coming out with an improved BLTR. They've got improved driver ports, improved blast hatches, improved armor. I don't know where or why they needed to deceive the public, but they did. To say it, fooling anyone else, the Americans and British, most likely, or Europeans, could watch the Russians testing these things in the Arctic. And maybe that's what it is. The guns force the drones to a higher altitude, maybe. But remember, the Por and Tanser, they're part of a whole system of frontline. And don't forget, the Terminator still has the guns. So I think it's about making each system distinct. And remember, this is the third. This is already this is the third system in the front line, right? This is the long range frontline equipment, right? So it's part of a network where you've got the Tor, the Panzer, and the Terminator. Yeah, and there you go. Fire on the go. And hit its target. I think fire on the go is a huge improvement. And I think it's down to a 2-man crew, although I think they still have a vehicle commander, 3-man vehicle commander. Yeah. Night operations, Arctic operations. Arctic operations are big for the Russians because that's their bread and butter, the winter offense, which is why they can take out NASAMS. Yes, we all know they can take out NASAMS. NASAMS a low, flatter trajectory to give it more range. There's various, I think this is a system France provided to Ukraine. What happened to the RST? Well, it's outdated. The RST is undergoing recalibration. Yeah, this is ideal for ship top vertical launch systems, fire on the go. That's why its upgrades are so important. Improved search radar and multi-target tracking capabilities. Now, isn't it amazing? What was going to take a month only took less than 12 hours once the approval for funding of Ukraine went through European Parliament. Suddenly, the oil flowed to Slovakia. Not to Hungary, by the way, just to Slovakia. There's a blockage. Yeah. This is the problem with European diplomacy. It smells like mafia tactics and blackmail. We get now where Ukraine seems to have its biggest setback today in this area here. Russian aviation carried out somewhere in here again, you don't see it on the map. Just like you don't see all the drone attacks. Although Dnipro got hit, Chevrolet. But yeah, you don't see all the drone attacks. But yeah, aviation carry out a strike. And again, you'll have your pro-Ukrainians saying, well, if it's not on my news feed, it didn't happen. Or if it's from the Russian news feed, it's Russian disinformation. Russian aerospace forces have posted on Telegram images. If I was able to show you them, I could. Now, they carried out a strike. Now, they say with a smart bomb, this was a glide bomb launched into a wooded position where behind the hill, in a strategic position, was an enemy observation post. It pretty much been built into the hill, and had the camo nets just up over the hill. Those spread out periscopes. Had a satellite. The flat dish used by Starlink. It's pretty built in. Now, one of the little big, the rubbery aerial they use for mobile phones. That's a drone communications relay station. But the important thing is the loss of a counter battery station. Now, these are field towed. They usually do sit them behind the hill. They record flights overhead of artillery and calculate their trajectories, send the information back so that counter battery knows exactly the relative range and position of the artillery as it's firing, and better still, because it's able to process so fast, it's usually able to get it within the first couple of shots and able to guide counter batteries to carry out immediate. So when you hear of a counter battery station, these are radar units for artillery. They track shells and estimate where they come from based on the height, angle of the shell, the speed of the shell. It loses ever so much as it moves through the atmosphere. And even its spin rate, its caliber, everything is measured within seconds and relayed back to a artillery post, which will immediately direct long-range fire back at the position where the shells came from. This is why Russia fires and forgets within minutes. Why they're doing away with towed artillery. They just cannot get towed artillery out of the way of counter batteries fast enough. So you'll have a game of cat and mouse between self-propelled artillery and tanks. And tanks usually target the self-propelled artillery. The self-propelled artillery targets Ukrainian positions. And ultimately, you get these counter-battery positions, which are very important observation posts. And they are between... Okay, we have here billions of dollars in bunkers and defences. But all the way up here, there's going to be counter-battery systems all the way. Now, the loss of one will not impact. Ukraine will have dozens of these scattered around the place, ready to go, and constantly keeping up with the estimated losses. But it's... Yeah. For the... In here. Victoria, yeah. Victoria. That's just so you're clear. That's Vidovia Duguva. Different town. But yeah, Russia has captured, and as you notice, sometimes when small places are captured, their names disappear off the map. So it's hard to say, but somewhere in here, Russia and Ukraine are clashing, but Russia is allegedly moving closer to here and closer to here, but these maps don't update often enough. But somehow, Ryet Akhmedov, despite losing 2 oil facilities, and he is still Ukraine's largest electricity provider. Well, he's had a lot of equipment destroyed and rebuilt. He's lost some major assets, which are in the process of being rebuilt. His entire media empire is taken over he was forced to hand over the Ukrainian state, but allegedly now he has been paid, slowly, compensation for his losses. Apparently, he is the recipient of money from Ukraine that's allegedly going to support Ukraine. Yeah, it's supporting Ukraine, all right. But his holding company, System Capital Management, has made investments all on property and real estate all across. This is, again, it's what happens, right? The state shakes down the private industry. The private industry takes a hit. They sit down and work out how to spread the wealth, redistribution of wealth, and then suddenly when Zelensky's happy, you're suddenly rich again. And Keir Starmer probably does it. Mandami probably does it. I mean, he's already worth, 30 million? AOC, all these others. It's ridiculous. Claiming that she's not worth, I'm not worth billions of dollars. That's an accounting error. And then it comes out there was an accounting error. They underestimated how much she was worth. They missed some properties. Now, why is Sputnik reporting a meeting between Putin and Zelensky to finalise agreements? Well, I have turned off the ad. It's still detect. 24 hours ago, the Turkish foreign minister was approached by the Ukrainian foreign minister to host a meeting between Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Zelensky. Al Jazeera only confirmed this 11 hours ago. Russian news is yet to confirm it, but Ukrainian news confirmed it 8 hours ago. Other news outlets at various times. Turkish Foreign Ministry put out a statement an hour ago confirming the meeting is going ahead. But apparently 19 hours ago, I just can't remember which, Russian television had a brief announcement from the that Vladimir Putin has yet to finalise the meeting, and then we get to hear it's only possible if it is to finalise agreements. The Russians have asked the purpose of the meeting, that he is ready to meet, although he said Moscow, not Turkey, Peskov, to finalise agreement. No other purpose. According to the Kremlin, the Jack Kushner Witkoff will visit Russia soon after Pakistan. Now, the Pakistan meeting was cancelled by Iran, but you wouldn't think that of Chuck Schumer's little tirade, right? Chuck Schumer said, America this, America that, blah, blah, blah. IRGC may be on the ropes, but the DNC is giving it water and patting down its brow. You're still in this fight, bro. You're urging them on. Yeah. So, I'm not going to read anything into this because this tit for tat, statement after statement, is just usual political nonsense by people trying to gauge public opinion, send mixed signals so that people will come rushing to them and say, no, this is what we want. It's all a game that pretty much should have ended in high school. Just be a man, stand on the stage, tell everybody what you want, and if you don't get it, you don't get it. And if you're willing to fight for it, you fight for it. And if you're going to fight for it, then turn around and say, no, let's negotiate. You should stop fighting. Right? Let's just be honest. The international order is a bunch of children fighting. I'm not pointing at Putin or Zelensky here. I'd say just or Trump or anyone. But most of the international order, France, are children. Right? France backed out because some French officer, right, had just fly out there, whack him over the head, take his watch off him and throw it overboard. Don't turn the entire aircraft carrier back because you got cold feet. Well, it's actually not turned back. It's still somewhere out there. It's just not taking part in any actions right now. It's observing. Yeah. All right, so we have Turkey saying we've been approached, Ukraine saying they've made the approach, Russia says they're aware of the approach. Gosh, just get a hotel room already. Doesn't have anything to do with any one particular facility. I think it has to do with the long-range strike. Oh, where was it? Further back in Zaporozhye. Yeah. I can't see it. It may be taken off the map. There was a long-range strike somewhere in here yesterday. Remember when the whole thing lit up? Yeah, that was... shows you they do know where all the drone strikes are. Then they just take them off. They trim it. See, look at all the lists. They do put out a list where Russia has hit. It's just that this site takes it down. The Ukrainian military is telling you these things happen. So the Ukrainian military is actually updating. So the transparency, apologies, is not the Ukrainian government. It is this website that is deliberately not publishing information. Just like Deep State and other maps are deciding not to deliberately publish information. Russia's made small gains. It's taken a total of 81 towns now, just one more. But that's it, in 3 months. That's nothing to sneeze at, but nothing to write to Putin and say, well done, either. And again, I believe there is no winning this war. I believe there is only ending it now. And where it ends, I mean, look at it. 3 months, 6 months in the same position. And I said, once you get to 6 months in the same position, you're going to be better off ending the war than spending another 12 months to gain just that little bit more. Because in the end, that's $100 billion down the toilet for both sides. And I know there's no faster recovery for Russia, okay, than Europe's slow recovery ends up being Russia's slow recovery. And right now, Russia's most biggest threat isn't the West, it's China. And that's where I think if Europe was not infected with massive selfishness and insecurity and immaturity, that they would rise above the fear of a Russian invasion and realize that it ain't happening, that a breakup with America is not so much a breakup, but a scaling back and a redistribution of NATO. And that ultimately the best thing NATO could have is a buffer zone. Neutral Ukraine, by many generals now, have all said, all of them who've been fired or removed from their job, is a neutral Ukraine. So thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Please support the channel. You support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. I appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the next video and bye for now.